Hey there, welcome to Concept Hunter. Today we're going to talk about Plumber's Creed by Pietro Ferrantelli, Niels Tracelin, and Thomas Fleen, if I read their names correctly. You could really easily see that this is Mario meets Assassin's Creed because Mario meets Assassin's Creed. And it actually works quite well, which is really quite interesting. The Mario parts, there isn't too much of it, mostly the art style, the enemies, and this is a Mario with a hood, duh. But aside from that, the main mechanic of Mario is really jumping on their heads also kills them. But you have other ways, because this is also Assassin's Creed. You move around, there's no controls, there's no like tutorial that tells me what the hell is going on, what I need to do. It's kind of obvious, but it's not entirely obvious, and at least just one screen of tutorial, especially about the controls, because okay, arrow keys obviously, but then it's usually Z and X, so I used Z and it puts down a mine, I used X, it doesn't do anything. I tried A, and A luckily is the one that throws the sword. You could tell me this, you know? You could tell me instead of me having to discover it. But in any case, what you have to actually do is to get 3 of these things. I don't actually play too much Assassin's Creed, so I don't have good names for these things, but you have to get 3 of them. You just bop them over the head like Mario, and then you get them. You need all 3. They are not optional. Once you have all 3 of them, you could reach the ending of the level, and it's the flag, the Mario flag, and you finish the level. Aside from that, there's a timer. You don't care about it. It ticks up. I guess you want to do it as fast as possible, but it doesn't really count as anything. It doesn't really matter. And there are 9 levels. You can actually see that this is... You can't see it because my face is hiding it, but it's 1 out of 9 levels. So there are 9 levels. In terms of the enemies, there are all kinds of different types of enemies. And in all those types, there are the ones that die and the ones that don't die. So these guys will actually die. And yeah, the last mechanic is obviously the haystack because it's Assassin's Creed. So these guys, some of them will die, and the purple ones won't actually die. They will, yeah, go into a shell, retreat into a shell, and then eventually come back. So these, again, these I can kill, and the others I can't. Now, there's a couple of different types of them. Some of them, once they see you, rush at you. Some of them will jump and bop, which is, you know, problematic to deal with because it's really fast. And some of them will actually just shoot you with an arrow, which is kind of nice. The mines that I use... Oh, I should have dropped down and then used the mine, so now I'll wait for it. The mines actually do AoE damage, so they're pretty damn useful. And I could jump in the haystack and then he sees me, but then he doesn't. And then these two... Hello. Okay, it didn't turn around. But anyways, you can understand the very simple stealth mechanics that you have in this game, in the sense that when they see you, they go at you, and then you can kind of get away, and then where is he? And then they go back to their patrol, basically. Could do this, and then they both go into that, and they both die, but again, they get back. There isn't anything on top of that. That's just the basic mechanics. That's how it works. Again, I can jump on their heads because Mario, but other than that, it's mostly using these. And I found myself mostly using these because jumping on their heads, especially when everything is so fast, and they move so fast when they see you, is kind of difficult. Definitely possible, especially if you're coming from the top, you know, and you're kind of acting sneakily. But I usually just use the weapons. And these weapons, wow, I missed one. The weapons, it is important to note, are just on a cooldown. So you do have an infinite amount of them. And because I don't care about the timer, I often just waited for the cooldown because I don't really care, because why not? Now, the game works really well. There's 9 levels. It doesn't feel too much. I could play more, actually. I like the different types of enemies. It works well, the combination. And really what it makes me think of is just more things that you could do. And there's so many things that you could do more. Without even adding additional mechanics, just changing up the variables. Think about the following thing. What if the timer didn't tick up, it ticked down? So I have 60 seconds to finish a level. That would mean that the cooldowns actually matter. Instead of them, you know, I could just shoot something and then I can stand here and just wait because I don't care, and then eventually come back with the cooldown, just wait for the cooldown. What if there was a timer, so I actually had to get moving in order to finish the level? That's one idea that you could do. Another idea is have a consumable amount of things. I could always kill stuff by jumping on their heads. So having only three swords and 3 mines, it's totally fine. It makes sense that you don't have infinite of these things. That'll also totally work. And maybe you could replenish this when I get one of the 3 things that I need. I could replenish them by 1. I'll get 1 additional if I get those. Or maybe there are pickups along the level. It allows you to have some more interesting level design, for example. In terms of the level design, if we're on the subject, I have to say that, again, because there was no tutorial, it was kind of difficult for me to see exactly what's a wall and what's a floor. So these things, I can't go on top of them, but I can always go on the roof of buildings, and these are okay. And these are the wooden blocks are the things that I can climb on. And the enemies can't see through the climbable things, but they can see through a certain amount of distance of height. There's no real tutorial. You just kind of figure these things out. It's not the worst thing. But visually, not everything is great. I mean, you don't immediately tell, I can go on this and I can wall climb on this. It's not immediately clear. So that's one thing that you want to work on a little bit. I like the little tweak mechanic that you could use the haystack. Not that it's the greatest or the most useful thing, but it's very nice indeed. So aside from that, yeah, it's the consumables, it's the timer. Clearly, you could do more interesting levels with more things, more enemies. You could do more different weapons. A million things that you could do here that will be all pretty damn valid. And that's pretty much it. It's called Plumber's Creed. I really liked it. I played through it. It's a really nice combination of stuff. And again, it's by, if I'll read their name properly, Pietro Ferrantilli, Nails Tracelin, and Thomas Lean. Sorta? I sorta did it? I don't know. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching Concept Hunter, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.